Great way to start the show. Let's do it again. Good morning, Misfits. Good morning. Good morning, Misfits. Welcome to the Daily Breakdown. I'm your host, again, Zach Bonfilio, aka the Misfit Patriot. It is TDS Tuesday on the Daily Breakdown. Welcome to the LFA family. Great Guy Gary, Amanda Collins, Uncle Cracker, Fun Mon, Kittenhead, Kit Kat Ma, Roadrunner. Look, I actually I was looking at my old channel yesterday, and somebody left a comment and they said, "Hey, I'm one of your oldest, longest supporters, and you never shout me out." And I was like, "Hey, I'm on LFA now. My old channel is an archive, essentially, right? So it's just dual streaming because it's there. There's no titles, there's no anything. I don't have the chat up here. So TPH14, I see you, I miss you, I love you. Get off of my old channel. Get over here. It's rumble.com/LFA TV now. And I will shout you out every morning. Join the rest of the crew. It's a fun time over here. All right. Yes, so fun show coming up. Fun show coming up, right? For TDS Tuesday. But I do want to start off by saying that what are we doing? Like what are we doing here with this whole democratic socialist experiment, right? What are we doing? Okay, because I don't think this is going to work out the way that the left thinks it is, right? But I do know how it will work out for the right if it continues. Just look behind me. So, Donnie the Dictator. If you guys missed it, Mom Donnie yesterday, I believe it was yesterday, is calling for the arrest of Bibi Netanyahu when he comes to New York because of something called the International Criminal Court. All right. So just to set up this thumbnail, let me take out my little aligner so I don't sound like freaking Fuentes. So it's subtle, but you can see on the patch here on Mom Donnie's little arm, it says ICCPD, and he's got a little wanted dead or alive poster. Look, you may not be a fan of Bibi, that's fine. You may not be a fan of Israel, that's fine, right? I'm America first, the real kind, not the weird Mexican twink America first, trans Nazi movement that Nick Fuentes started. I'm the real America first, right? The real America first, not America only. I'm also not obsessed with a country in the Middle East the size of New Jersey and their world leader. I don't care about Bibi that much, to be completely honest. But some people in America are pretty obsessed, and Mamdani's one of them. And Mamdani has Trump derangement syndrome, hence TDS Tuesday, but I would say primarily he has IDS, right? Israel derangement syndrome. I actually don't know the answer to this. I don't know if Mamdani understands that the International Criminal Court is basically just this like made up. It's like Narnia. Like they don't do anything. It's not a real court. It's not like they have the Hague. It's like, okay, we'll get to it. All right, but they don't have police. And you're not the mayor of the world, I guess you could say, because his jurisdiction is New York. It's not the world, right? And if somebody with a warrant from the Fantasyland criminal court comes into New York, you don't have the right to arrest them. Doesn't matter who it is. All right? You're not the mayor of the ICC or the Hague or wherever the hell it is. It's the international. You're a city mayor. Slow your roll, know your place. But I do appreciate you saying the quiet part out loud. I actually do. I think that this is good. I think that it's good that the left continues to highlight their hypocrisy. Because how long have we been hearing from the left that Trump is a dictator? Right? Trump is a dictator. Trump is a fascist. It's like, bro, Mamdani literally just called for arresting a world leader based off of Narnia's criminal court. Like, no. No, that's fascism. That's dictatorship. All right, we'll get to it. We also got the Daily Breakdown coming up for you. If you've never seen this show before, the Daily Breakdown is when I go on the internet, I type in the word news, whatever stories pop up, we break it down. Hence, the Daily Breakdown. All right, so we got some BBC who's in Andy Burnham's cabinet. I think that's who is that? Starmer's replacement. Trump slaps 50% tariffs on Canada. That'll be a fun story. U.S. launches fresh strikes on Iran, and I know that we covered this yesterday, and I meant when I said I'm not going to spend every day talking about Andrew Tate, but this is actually it's continuing. It's going to be in the news cycle probably this week. All right, I mean, it's pretty big, and it's all online. And the reason why I'm going to cover this a little bit more right now is because we have a problem here. Okay, this right here, this is a problem, right? And over a year and a half ago, or 2 years ago, I don't know. I've been talking about this guy for a while. If you watch my old channel, I focused a lot of time on it, and that's why I'm not going to do that again. I understand it's a new audience, but I don't want to make the show the Andrew Tate, show. But I said one of the first things I said was Andrew Tate is the biggest mistake MAGA can make. That was one of my first posts. Andrew Tate is the biggest mistake MAGA can make. What do I mean by that? I knew, based on my research, that he is definitely guilty. So if MAGA latches on to him when the evidence comes out, doesn't matter if it's 2 years from now or 2 days from now, when it comes out, it will hurt us. Okay? So Abe Hamada. This was bad. This was very stupid. Abe Hamada, he's running for Arizona's 8th. He is on the midterm cheat sheet as a recommendation, and I will be pulling him off of there if we don't see a correction on this soon. Because the midterms are very important, but number one, that guy. That's the only person I'm trying to impress. I'm not endorsing or latching on to any tater tots, period, full stop, end of story. It's disqualifying. I don't care if he's endorsed by TPUSA. I don't care. This has to be fixed now. As a former prosecutor, I understand the importance of protecting Americans in times of crisis. The U.S. Constitution is the greatest protection in the world for its citizens. The Tate brothers are American citizens, so they deserve full American constitutional protections, which means innocent until proven guilty. No American court has charged them with a crime despite years of false alarms and innuendos. They've been deplatformed, debanked, arrested, and still no convictions, something President Trump has endured for years. Remember what I told you yesterday? The Tates are trying to trauma bond with MAGA because Trump was a victim of lawfare. They are not. They're not victims of lawfare. They're not Trump. They're guilty. My opinion. But they're guilty. I showed you everything you needed to see yesterday. If you still don't think they're guilty, I don't know what to tell you. Just unfollow. Get out of here. I honestly mean that. Go. All right. There should be, quote, continuing from Abe, There should be no extradition of American citizens when the charges are unclear and political. You don't know that. The US government should either charge them with a crime or protect them from reckless court proceedings in the UK and Romania. Political lawfare is dangerous. This part's true. The rule of law still matters, and it's our responsibility to uphold the integrity of the justice system. So, community note. The Tate brothers hold dual US and UK citizenship. They are UK citizens. They're not just American citizens. The UK is not saying, give me your American, okay? The UK is saying, give me my UKian. What do they call European? What are they called? Britain? I don't know. But yeah, so this is not a good look, Abe, because you start off as a former prosecutor. I understand the importance of protecting Americans. Do you not understand that they're not just American citizens? If that's okay, that's okay. If you are wrong, you're wrong. If this is ignorance, make a retraction. Hey guys, I completely messed up. I didn't actually look into the Tates. I'm sorry. It's that simple. It's that simple. If you dig in on this, we're done. You should lose your race if you dig in on this. Don't even make it a half-ass squishy retraction either. Just go full send. Be like, hey guys, I messed up. That's what we want to hear. That's what we want to hear from our representatives. We want to hear honesty. And if you're honestly not thinking that you made a mistake, you shouldn't be an elected representative because your discernment skills are garbage. They are charged. I understand innocent till proven guilty. Stop gaslighting me. I know what it means. I get it. But they are charged. And charges usually are based on evidence. Usually. With the exception of Trump. Usually they're based on evidence. Rape, sex trafficking, assault, and child pornography. What if there's evidence? You're gonna die on this hill, Abe? You really want to die on this hill? I'd make a retraction. Thankfully, some people in this administration still have integrity and a brain. Harmeet Dillon from the top rope comes out. What is this stupidity? Responding to Abe. The Tates fled the UK to Romania originally to avoid the very investigation that led to the charges they are now facing. It's amazing people don't realize that. They are not Romanian citizens. They were sex traffickers in Britain, UK, England, whatever. And when the heat got too hot, they fled to Romania, a very corrupt and sort of pro-sex trafficking country. Go look it up. It's got a history. They didn't go there by accident. Andrew Tate didn't convert to Islam by accident either. It's like, wait a minute, child brides? Bro, let's go. From Harmeet, the evidence against them is substantial. This is true. There is no evidence that this prosecution is politically motivated. That's actually true. There is no actual evidence that the UK prosecution is politically motivated. Do I think it is? Probably. I don't care. Two things can be true at the same time. It's politically motivated, and it's true. And they have the evidence. Continuing from A.G. Hamilton, we have extradition treaties with other countries. The U.S. Constitution does not somehow grant someone the right to sex traffic and rape in other countries without consequences just because they later make it back to America. You can't charge them with a crime here because they committed most of their crimes in other countries and have barely spent any time in America. They moved to England when they were like, I think 11 and 10 and 11 or 11 and 12. They are technically American citizens, but they have not lived here in 3 decades. They can challenge the extradition in court, but politicians going out of their way to defend credibly accused sex traffickers and rapists, plus now they have charges related to sexual material involving minors, are just embarrassing themselves. Abe, she's right. It would be very wise of you, and I know the people that you know who I am and talk to me, so they might be reaching out to you and saying, bro, delete that. Or not only delete it, just make a retraction, right? The midterms are very important. We need to win them. You are the +1 for AZ08. I don't care. If you double down on this, I will make sure you lose. That has to be our standard. We cannot become the left where we turn a blind eye to evil just to win. That's not how we're doing this. Not moving forward. We're not allowing the woke right, just dregs of society, take over this party and turn us into something we're not. I'm actually very happy that A.G. Hamilton did come out and, make that tweet, because there's some like chatter out there that, Marco Rubio is going to step in or Trump's going to step in. Again, Andrew Tate's the biggest mistake MAGA can make, right? This isn't about me and a beef with, Andrew Tate and he's suing me. I don't care, right? He's not winning. But the reason why I'm talking about these two losers is because it's a threat to the party. It really is. It's a threat to the party. It's a threat to the movement. By default, it's a threat to the country, because if we lose and DSA candidates keep on, growing, and we hand power back to the left, say goodbye to America. You really want Andrew Tate, a sex trafficking pedo, to be the linchpin that destroys America? Wake up! Rubio is not intervening. Trump is not intervening. Anybody who's telling you that is lying. I know. Look, not to brag, but I know people, right? I've been in this space for years. I've made connections, and I know people, right? I'm not bragging like I'm so popular. I know people who know Trump. Okay, I know Sean knows people who know Trump. I know people who know Trump. Anybody in this space, you're probably a few phones away from Trump if you're anywhere, in the vicinity. Jeremy probably knows people who know Trump. Okay, I'm not saying I have Dom Jr.'s phone number. I'm saying if I wanted to get a message to the inner circle, I could. And over a year and a half, 2 years ago, when this whole thing started, I went and I sent that message, and I was assured it went to Trump. Trump does not know, support, or have anything to do with Andrew Tate. Period. End of story. I know this. All right. So if people are trying to push that narrative, there's a reason, because they know that Andrew Tate is the biggest mistake MAGA can make, and they want us to make it. Don't. All right. I think we're done with that. Pretty sure we're done with that. Okay. Let's get to the news. Donnie the Dictator, we'll save that for the last part of the show. I saw somebody in the chat, actually, real quick. I'll address one final thing, right? Funmon, I think they've done some effed up stuff, but not all they are accused of. How do you know? They might have done every single thing they're accused of. They might have done most things they're accused of. They might have done some things they're accused of. But if you watched yesterday's show, they definitely did something that they should be buried underneath a prison for. So, I mean, look, you guys make your own decisions, but please don't make those decisions based on limited research. Okay? You can go into my X, okay? This is the last I'm going to talk about it today. Hopefully this just gets out of the news. But here's what I want you to do, okay? If you're on the fence, go to my page, okay? up here at the top, you see this little magnifying glass, okay? You can just type in Tate, boom. All right, just type in Tate, okay? And then you can find all of the stuff that I've put up over the past year and a half-ish, okay? Here's chats between 30-something-year-old Tristan Tate and a 16-year-old girl, right? Send me a photo of your ID. These are official documents, by the way. This is not a certified copy, but these are official documents from the Romanian court case. These guys are not innocent. Period. All right? He literally wants to do backdoor stuff after finding out that a girl is 16 years old. Guys, do not hitch your wagon to them. Period. Please. Just hit the thumbs up button. It's called the Misfit is Right About Everything button, okay? Just hit the thumbs up button, like this, share this, and get this out there. We already just did about 15 minutes. I didn't even want to do that much on it. But go to my page and type in Tate, T-A-T-E. Actually, go to this page and type in Tate. This one is even better. This is Milk Bar TV. It's not hard to do research. The internet has so much information on it, okay? Nathan Livingstone is probably the #1 documenter of Andrew Tate's own evidence against himself that he put on the internet, okay? So, do that, and we're moving on. Okie doke. Always thought these guys were pigs. Yeah, see, most people in the chat get it. Okay. So, why do we care about who is in a cabinet in the UK? I don't, but it's on the news. Somebody in the chat goes, I stopped liking him when I found out he's Muslim-based. All right, moving on. We're done with Tate. He's in jail. Shoo. All right, bye-bye, Andrew. Have fun. Don't drop the soap. Okay, who is in Andy Burnham's cabinet? Prime Minister Andy Burnham announced his new cabinet after taking office. Sorry, guys, just got something real quick right here. Oh, thought that was an emergency. It was not. All right. His new cabinet after taking office. Tap or click on a person in our actor. No, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. Tap or click on a person in our interactive guide below to learn more about them and their role in the government. I don't care. I'm sorry, guys. I'm one of those people who ignorance is bliss. Okay, I don't care about other countries, including Israel, and their governments. Well, I guess if it affects us, yeah, sure, I care, but I don't care about the ins and outs, the inner workings. I don't have any voting power. I don't have any influence over there. It's very silly to get involved in, like, it's good to talk about foreign policy. It's good to talk about allies and world issues, but there's a lot of people in America that are like, and I'm like, but yeah, can you vote over there? No. All right. Well, let the UK fix their own garbage. Let's fix America. Well, they can fix their own garbage over there. All right. All right. This is a fun story. I love Trump. Trump is my favorite. All right. Trump slaps 50% tariffs on Canada, and Carney vows to intensify trade talks. Good idea. Canada is just messed up. Canada's going down a dark path. Well, they've been going down a dark path. I don't know what's gonna happen, but Canada's a little bit. Look, I know I'm following up. Maybe we should know a little bit about Canada. And I just said I don't really care about other countries. Canada's right next door, so we should be a little bit more concerned with places like Canada. And we should be weary of adversaries in places like China. But I'm not sitting there finding out who Xi Jinping's freaking second in command is. I don't care. China's bad. Canada and China have a partnership. A very dangerous partnership for America. We should be aware of that. Trump understands who our friends and who our enemies are, and he sees that there's a benefit to putting maximum, well, not maximum, a lot of pressure on Canada right now to sort of break down that potential for a, an, a neighboring border giant state partnering with the biggest threat to the United States. We just found out last week that China's trying to, or did, rig the 2020 election. They're not good. They don't want good things for this country. All right. I know that that's not good. I know that that's not going to be anything in here. I'm adding that in because it's important. All right, but Trump slapped a 50% tariff on a wide range of goods in retaliation for what he called unequal treatment of U.S. cars, dairy, and alcohol. Everyday consumer items like wine and hockey sticks and industrial goods such as cement are among goods targeted. However, several key exports will be spared, such as energy, potash. What the hell is potash? Does anybody in the chat know what potash is? I've never heard that word before in my life. Critical minerals and fish. What is potash? Is that supposed to say potatoes? Is that a typo? What is potash? Is that like Cash Patel? Potash? Cash? All right. Prime Minister Carney responded by saying Canada stood ready to intensify trade talks with the U.S. White House said the duties would take effect in 30 days. Canada's macadamia nuts are awful. I'm still waiting for somebody in the chat to tell me what potash is. The White House said duties would take effect in 30 days. Trade tensions have been simmering since Trump returned to office in 2025, unleashed a wide ranging of global program of tariffs. Okay. I'm wondering if they do mention China. U.S. Supreme Court ruled earlier this year that many of Trump's tariffs imposed globally under emergency powers were illegally enacted. It's potash. Potash. What is potash? Potash. Hold on. Looks like we got some nerds in the chat. Okay. All right. Let's see here. It's used for fertilizer. Okay. Yes, potash is used for a lot of things. Various water soluble salts containing potassium. I am out of it today. Containing potassium, an essential primary plant nutrient primarily used in agricultural fertilizers. Oh wait, I do know what it is. Son of a bitch. Yeah, I've heard of that before. Potash. It's such a rare thing to hear. You hear about it like, I'm like, oh, the farming thing. Okay. So potash. Well, Trump's gonna charge him more for that. Anyway, where were we? It placed a 25% levy of its own on about 30 billion, 16 billion Canadian. I don't know what 30 billion Canadian is, but it's probably not much worth of U.S. goods being brought into Canada. Carney later dropped some of them. A White House fact sheet published Monday discussing the new tariffs said they applied regardless of whether the product was included under the existing free trade agreement, known as the USMCA. Okay, so essentially, we're looking at yet another power move by Trump, which he will win, right? This is how it works with Trump in Canada. Trump goes, hey, I'm going to slap you. And then they go, no, no, no. And then he goes, yeah. And then they go, okay. That's how it happens every time. Canada's like France. They're pansies. They're not going to do anything. We literally like subsidize their country, right? If America literally just gave them nothing tomorrow, Canada would fall in like a month and a half, probably more, but you get my point. Which is why they're trying to partner up with Canada, because they become a socialist, communist-loving shithole. And we don't have Biden or Kamala Harris or anybody in charge anymore, so they're like, well, let's go and, talk to the only other people who would benefit from having a partnership with us? Why do they want to have so much of a partnership with China? Or sorry, why does China want to have a partnership with them? Remember, a lot of the fentanyl that comes into this country comes from the northern border too, right? China wants to destroy America. If China can get in tight with Canada, they're closer. That's how it works. You guys are still talking about potash in this chat, huh? Apparently I brought up I opened up Pandora's dirty, ashy little box. All right. Okay, moving on. Let's see. Same story as every other day, with probably nothing new in it. U.S. launches fresh strikes on Iran as Trump warns of retaliation for death of soldiers. U.S. military launched another round of strikes. Yeah, we cover this every day, and here's the two fallen soldiers, and like I said yesterday, it's absolutely terrible that any soldiers die, but we're in a bit of a conflict here. This is what they sign up for. I was telling you guys that Carl Higbie was talking about this on his show. He's a Navy SEAL, and he says this is what they sign up for. He says a lot more service members probably died in training accidents in the military this year than in the Iranian conflict. That's not to say that these heroes did not sacrifice their lives and we shouldn't care. It's just putting things into perspective. We went after Iran. There was not a 0% chance a single service member would die. But that's what they sign up for. That's the reason why we have a military. They sacrificed their lives for our freedom because our freedom is at risk because of Iran. The reason why I'm doing this and saying this is because there are some people that are so black and white, like Dave Smith, who think that you can just not do war, right? It's not how it works. There are evil people in the world, and there are good people in the world. We're the good guys. Despite what some morons on the internet will tell you, we are the good guys. And these two sacrificed their lives, these heroes sacrificed their lives to keep us being the good guys. And they should be praised and applauded for that. They shouldn't be used and weaponized for political gain to try to attack this country. They died for this country. I don't think that they would appreciate it. Okay. So, it's aggravating, like, I mean, I'm sure you guys go through the same thing. You open the internet and you're like, geez, what the hell, man? Relatively good guys. That's Occam's Rooster, by the way, awesome name in the chat. Relatively good guys. I will agree. It depends who's in charge. All right. Senator Darlene Graham, Lindsey Graham's sister, is not real sister, is a sister, reveals whether she will run for a full term during Hannity exclusive. All right. I was seeing the clips from this morning. It looked like a good interview. Darlene's brother died. Lindsey Graham died suddenly on July 11th. I have not seen her answer, so let's find out together. Darlene Graham, the sister of Lindsey Graham, told Sean Hannity that she plans for a full Senate term. Okay, there it is. She is going to run, and she's going to win. Look, I was never a fan of Lindsey Graham. All right, I was never. You guys are still talking about potash in the chat. You guys are still talking about this. What is going? How popular is that stuff? Okay, sorry. I just looked over and I was like, still talking about it in all caps. Bad moods like potash. Okay. So, Lindsey Graham's sister is going to win. Okay, now look, I was not a fan of Lindsey Graham. There's not a lot of people in the MAGA movement that are fans of Lindsey Graham, right? because he's a neocon, right? And we get called neocons all the time, and we're not, right? We're peace through strength. That's not neocon. Neocon is like the Bush era and Lindsey Graham era, right? Republicans. We're not like that. We're not pro-war, right? But we are peace through strength, right? We're like, hey, we don't want boots on the ground, but we want some bombs every once in a while. We want to project strength, and we want to be the big dog, right? We don't want to make the military industrial complex rich so they can give kickbacks to corrupt politicians. But we do want to fight radical Islam and extremist jihad. How do you juggle that, right? You got neocons who are like, let's just let's get involved everywhere, and then you got MAGA peace through strength, which is like, hey, let them know that our button's bigger than theirs, right? And if they F around, they're gonna find out. Okay? Can we all agree that that's the difference, the distinction? I hope we can. I will say, since Lindsey Graham's passing, I think I was misled about him on a little bit. I still stand by everything I said. I still stand by everything I said. But did you know that he was like one of the least wealthy people in Congress? He was only worth like $1 million, right? He was only worth like 1.5 million. So, I mean, I thought that he was this like really rich guy who had all these, kickbacks and everything. It turns out he was a neocon for the love of the game. And that's a little more respectable. It's a little more respectable. I still don't like the neocon attitude, but I mean, I thought that he was doing it for a different reason. So, but here's the thing. This is you're not going to want to hear this. You're not going to like to hear this, but it's true. He has support in his state. South Carolina likes him. Even if you don't. And believe it or not, that's how the system's supposed to work. People pick their elected representatives. He had a lot of support. Facts are facts. You might not like it, but facts are facts. His sister will have a lot of support because she's his sister. She will win. And that's a fact. Okay? Get over it. Right? We have primaries, and we can do a primary if she doesn't do a good job the next time she's up for one. That's how it works. And if I, even though I'm not a South Carolina resident, if I think that MAGA should come together and message that she should be taken out, then that's what I'll do. But if the people of South Carolina overwhelmingly support her, who the hell am I to tell them they're wrong? Right? I don't live there. That's their state. Okay. Let's get to Kami Mamdani. Now it's Dictator Donnie. Dictator Donnie is trying to arrest a world leader as the mayor of New York. It's ridiculous to even say out loud. The mayor of New York is trying to arrest a world leader. Oh my God. All right, maybe I should stretch for this one because I might yell. Okay, from the New York Post. We got two stories from the Post. All right, Mamdani is desperately seeking legal loophole to arrest Benjamin Netanyahu when Israel Prime Minister visits New York City. Mayor Zohran Mamdani says he's desperately seeking a legal loophole to arrest Prime Minister Netanyahu for alleged war crimes when he visits New York City in September. I mean, I don't think he wanted to arrest any Islamists or jihadists that have visited New York City, but I digress. The pro-Palestinian, Israel-hating socialist POL said in an interview published Saturday that it's unclear whether he has the authority to order. I'll let me clear this up for you, Donnie. You don't. I got you. I got you, boo boo. Look, I'm a freaking contractor. I own a remodeling company. I know you don't have the authority. You 1000% don't, bro. You're the mayor of New York City, dude. You're not an authority figure on international affairs. What the hell's wrong with you? During Prime Minister's expected trip to the Big Apple for the UN General Assembly, but is in an active conversation with the city's law department about this matter. I just pictured Mamdani walking up to like some NYPD patrolman, and he's like, look, here's what we're gonna do. Here's what we're gonna do. Right? We're gonna go into the UN assembly. And you're gonna tell those giant Israeli Secret Service guys that you're gonna arrest a leader of a foreign nation. Don't worry, they'll get out of your way. Dude, what are you doing? You are such an idiot. You can't just go. You realize this, he's not just like walking around, right? He's got security detail. I believe that Prime Minister Netanyahu belongs in The Hague. Mamdani bluntly told New York Times, referring to the United Nations International Court of Justice. All right, he's a war criminal who's been charged by the International Criminal Court, which is nothing. And what you will find is that an opinion that is held by many purely because of what his actions have wrought over these last many years. Mamdani has accused Israel of genocide in Gaza, a focal point of far-left ideology that has helped propel him into the national spotlight. Okay, so let's see what Mamdani said.
And he's the subject of this arrest warrant for alleged crimes against humanity, for war crimes, and he's the architect of the genocide against Palestinians in Gaza as Israel's prime minister. These are not facts of my personal assessment, they are facts of public record. And I believe that when someone is charged with an international criminal court warrant, it's something that should be taken seriously, whether it's Benjamin Netanyahu or it's Vladimir Putin or whomever else. What I've also made clear is that my administration will follow all applicable local laws. That is our commitment. That is something that we will follow through on when it comes to an adherence to local law. And that's all I have to add on that.
Dude, this guy's a sociopath, by the way. This creepy smile. This guy is a sociopath. I mean, I'm not a shrink. It's not my professional opinion. I just. All right, so another one from the New York Post. NYC poll pushes probe into whether Mamdani broke the law just by threatening to arrest Netanyahu. Hope so. Mayor Zohran Mamdani may have broken the law by threatening to arrest Benjamin Netanyahu, a local politician claimed, as he called for a formal state probe into his honor. State Assemblyman Simcha Eichstein, Democrat from Brooklyn, wrote a letter Monday to the state attorney, Letitia James, good luck with that, asking her to probe possible misconduct because the law directly prohibits the mayor from ordering local law enforcement to arrest a specific individual. Einstein, Orthodox Jew, said although an elected official can express his opinion, he cannot attempt to leverage their executive authority to direct law enforcement action against an individual based on personal, political, or ideological views. Under New York penal law, a public servant who knowingly performs an unauthorized act and misuses their position to pressure law enforcement into making an arrest may be guilty of official misconduct, a Class A misdemeanor, Eichstein said, obtained by the Post. So is this is the Democrat. By the way, dude, not for nothing, why are you a Democrat? Anyone wanna help me out with that? Like, why are you a Democrat? You're an Orthodox Jew. Why are you a Democrat? I mean, look, I think that we need to be blunt with our Jewish friends, right? You're idiots when it comes to not seeing the party that you're part of. If you're a Democrat, how? Like, how? I don't get it. Yes, the right has anti-Semites in it. The left is anti-Semitic, like the whole party. Obviously not you, but you understand what I'm talking about. As a whole, right? Their policy is anti-Israel, anti-Zionism, which is just a fancy way of saying anti-Jew. How are you a Jew and a Democrat? I don't understand. I don't understand it. It would be like me, a pro-Second Amendment guy, being a Democrat. I don't get it. They are an anti-gun party. Yes, there are people in the party that are pro-gun, but the party is anti-gun. I can't be a Democrat and a pro-Second Amendment to a absolutist. I wouldn't be able to. How are you a Jew and a Democrat? It baffles me. It absolutely baffles me. Your party hates you. They do. They hate you. And you're just like, yeah, well, yeah, somebody in the chat nailed it. The old Gad sad, suicidal empathy. That's it. That's the only explanation. It's suicidal empathy. It's like you just constantly trying to see the good in your party because you're viewing them through the lens of you. Like you're like, I'm not anti-Semitic, so my party can't be anti-Semitic. No, it can. It can. It can. I hope there's a mass exodus and a walk away movement because, like, dude, for when it's too late, and it's getting to that point. Okay, here's a full 2-minute clip.
I was reading your interview over the weekend and wanted to ask you more about your conversations with the your legal department about potentially arresting Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. I just want to know just what your feelings are when you look at, for example, your administration also reaching out to the Prime Minister of, the Ambassador of Iran, just how you, I guess, reconcile the two of being so.
Yeah, no crimes against humanity there. no crimes against humanity for Iranian leaders who slaughtered 50,000 people in January. No big deal. But Netanyahu, genocide.
Critical of the Israeli Prime Minister, but at the same time meeting with the Ambassador of Iran.
So I want to first clear up a few things. Our administration did not reach out to the Prime Minister of Iran. Our administration received a request from the Iranian consulate, and as soon as
that's better.
I heard of that, I made it clear that we are not meeting and we will not meet with the Israeli consulate here in New York City. And when it comes to Benjamin Netanyahu, we're speaking about someone who's the subject of an international criminal court arrest warrant. And he's the subject of this arrest warrant for alleged crimes against humanity, for war crimes, and he's the architect of the genocide against Palestinians in Gaza. I
wonder why the ICC hasn't labeled the 50,000 people in Iran that were slaughtered. I think it was like 37,000 in like a few days. I wonder why that hasn't been categorized as a genocide. But and I also wonder if it were, if Mamdani would feel the same way. I doubt it.
Israel's prime minister. These are not facts of my personal assessment. They are facts of public record. And I believe that when someone is charged with an international criminal court warrant, it's something that should be taken seriously, whether it's Benjamin Netanyahu or it's Vladimir Putin or whomever else. What I've also made clear is that my administration will follow all applicable local laws. That is our commitment. That is something that we will follow through on when it comes to an adherence to local law. And that's all I have to add on that.
Thank you. And now we're going to go to Heather from News 12.
Are you looking at arresting anybody else on that list of people who've committed international war crimes?
My point is that if someone is charged with a warrant by the International Criminal Court for these kinds of crimes, that's something I believe that should be honored. And I've also said that we will follow our local laws.
Yeah, you're going to go after anybody else or just the Jew? Well, you know, we'll start with him. Jeez. Look, if you guys don't follow John Spencer, you're missing out, all right? This guy is probably the #1 expert on just... I'm trying to... if you want to know what genocide actually is, this is the guy, okay? He's an expert on genocide, okay? I
was reading your interview over the...
And he just said there was never a genocide in Gaza. The opposite, actually. One side, Israel, vaccinating, feeding, helping with all the services, medical, drinking water, power, while taking extraordinary steps to protect civilians in the worst urban warfare scenario arguably ever seen. And the other side, Hamas, doing everything it can to get civilians killed, stealing food, targeting civilians that do not do their demands. The mayor is a liar and worse. Look, the population of Gaza increased during this war. It's not of genocide. All right. Civilian casualties in the Israel-Gaza war, roughly 1-to-1-ish, better than most conflicts similarly in the region. None of them labeled a genocide. The genocide is the intentional killing of a people group, right? Ethnicity, religion, what have you. If you are trying to kill terrorists and there are civilian casualties, it just simply does not meet the legal definition of genocide. That word is there specifically for a specific reason. So if the International Criminal Court has labeled civilian casualties during urban warfare a genocide, right? They're wrong, right? And what is the International Criminal Court anyway? What is it? I'll show you. It's a permanent international court in The Hague, right? That prosecutes individuals, not states, for the gravest crimes of international concern, including genocide, which they don't accurately define, crimes against humanity, war crimes, and the crime of aggression. It operates under the Rome Statute and is meant to complement national courts, stepping in when other countries are unwilling or unable to prosecute serious crimes themselves. What does it do? It investigates, when warranted, tries people accused of the most serious international crimes, focuses on individual criminal responsibility, not suing governments as such, aims to prevent impunity and provide accountability for victims. How it works. The Rome Statute created the ICC and entered into force on 1st of July 2002. Cases can be referred by state party, UN Security Council, or opened by prosecutor in certain circumstances, which means you have to cooperate with them, okay? The U.S. does not. The U.S. doesn't recognize the International Criminal Court as a legal court, right? We don't. The ICC relies on countries to arrest suspects and gather evidence because it has no police force of its own. It's not a legal, it's not an institution, okay? It's just some douchebags in a room or on a Zoom call saying, Bibi Netanyahu committed a genocide, we better tell everybody. It means nothing. All right. How many people? Whoop. How many people have been tried and convicted by the ICC? Let's just go over the last What is it, 2002? 20 years. 10. 10. Right? 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, 10 convictions and 4 acquittals reported in an EU summary of the court's first 20 years. Some sources say 31 cases have been brought and 21 people have been detained. If you mean tried and convicted as people whose cases reached judgment, the best concise answer is 10. Okay? So this is not a real court. This is not a real court that does a bunch of criminal trials and everything like that. It's just a made up thing. And they honestly, like, they don't have any authority. These 10 convictions that they had were by countries that cooperated with them and utilized them, and maybe even in a corrupt way. The bottom line is, we have national courts. We have separation between nations for a reason, all right? Because if somebody comes into this country and unless there's an extradition order, like with the Tates, right? It's not our jurisdiction. So anytime you hear these talking points, like what am I always doing here? You know, Dan Bongino calls it edutainment, right? I'm just trying to teach you these things so that you understand, so you can argue them on your own pages or with your own friends or your own people, because somebody might not have even realized this until today. I'm like, wait a minute, it's not a real court? No, no, it's not a real court. No, it's a bunch of douchebags on a Zoom. That's pretty much it. All right. Glad we cleared that up. All right. Thanks for clarifying, Zach. The idiots will think it's a scary threat. Yes, that's what I'm saying. It's not scary. It's not real. It's like the court of Narnia. It doesn't exist. All right. 8:59. Sean Farish is coming up next with Ungoverned. Make sure to like this, share this, send this out. We're going to try to, build up the Misfit army for midterm cheat sheet. I didn't have time to get to that today, but real quick, I will show you. We are at, real quick. What are we at? We're at 107. We got 107 people on Misfits cheat sheet. We gotta really start pumping that. But let's do some quick shout outs. One Sandman, Deb Pollen, Kimberly K, Eileen Jimenez, Miss Mocha Power, P, You're Out, Amanda Collins, Peg Jernigan. Arizona Election Day coming up on the 4th. That's right. All right, Bumba, we'll see you soon. Kimberly K, Roadrunner, T Hodges. All right, there it is. It's 9 a.m. Sean Farish with Ungoverned. I will see you tomorrow for Woke Wednesday.